The Galactic Council's diplomatic station orbited the violet giant of Sector 47, a gleaming monument to interspecies cooperation. Among the thousands of beings from hundreds of worlds, humans were still considered newcomers, barely a century since first contact. Most species viewed them as harmless curiosities, soft-skinned, weak-clawed, and possessing no natural weapons worth mentioning. Aaron had grown accustomed to the dismissive glances. As a human liaison officer, he navigated the station's chrome corridors with quiet efficiency, his modest uniform drawing little attention. The other species, the armored Kresh, the venomous Silthari, the massive Torgan, they were the ones who commanded respect. Humans were simply there. It was during a routine diplomatic reception that everything changed. Aaron stood near the refreshment alcove, observing the gathering of dignitaries when a commotion erupted near the entrance. The crowd parted as a Kresh matriarch stormed through, her obsidian scales gleaming with fury. Behind her, barely reaching her armored hip, stumbled a small Kresh juvenile. The cub's scales were still soft mottled gray instead of the intimidating black of adulthood. "Dishonor," the matriarch's voice boomed, her three-fingered claw pointing accusingly at the trembling cub. "You failed the proving. You brought shame to our bloodline. You are no offspring of mine." The juvenile, Liss, Aaron recalled from the station manifest, cowered, her budding claws scraping uselessly against the polished floor. The Kresh valued strength above all else. A cub who showed fear, who failed their coming-of-age trial, was cast out without mercy. Other species watched with varying degrees of interest or indifference. This was Kresh culture. No one interfered. Aaron felt something twist in his chest as he watched Liss shake, her golden eyes wide with terror and grief. He'd read the reports. Cast-out Kresh juveniles rarely survived a month alone, without a pack, without protection. They were easy prey for the countless dangers of the galaxy. His feet moved before his mind caught up. "Excuse me?" Aaron's voice cut through the matriarch's tirade. The entire hall fell silent. A human was addressing a Kresh matriarch mid-denunciation. The matriarch's head swiveled toward him, her eyes narrowing to slits. "You dare interrupt?" Aaron walked forward until he stood between the matriarch and Liss. He could feel the juvenile's rapid breathing behind him. "I believe you're finished here. The cub is no longer your concern." Dangerous murmurs rippled through the crowd. The matriarch's scales rattled, a warning display. "Human, you understand nothing of our ways. Step aside before you insult further." "I understand perfectly." Aaron's voice remained calm, but something in his tone made several nearby diplomats step back. "You've cast her out. She's alone now, which means she's fair game for anyone to claim." The matriarch's pupils dilated in surprise. That was indeed Kresh law. Abandoned cubs could be adopted into other packs. But for a human to invoke this right, you cannot be serious. You are barely above prey status yourself. What could you possibly offer a Kresh cub? Aaron didn't answer immediately. Instead, he turned slightly and extended his hand toward Liss. The juvenile stared at it, confusion and desperate hope warring in her expression. "Come here." "Liss." The cub hesitated only a moment before scrambling forward, pressing herself against Aaron's side. He rested his hand on her head, feeling her tremble gradually ease. The matriarch's laugh was cruel. "Foolish. You've claimed what you cannot protect. When predators come for her, and they will, your soft skin will tear like paper." "Perhaps." Aaron's expression didn't change. "But here's something you don't know about humans." He met the matriarch's gaze steadily. "We're persistence predators. On our world, we didn't need claws or venom or armor. We just never stopped. We tracked our prey for days until they collapsed from exhaustion. We survived ice ages, plagues, and our own worst instincts. We domesticated wolves, creatures that could kill us easily, and turned them into companions through nothing but patience and will." He felt Liss's breathing slow, her body relaxing against him. "You think I can't protect one cub? I'm a human. Protection is what we do best, not through strength but through stubbornness, through refusal to abandon what's ours." The hall had gone completely silent. Even the usually disinterested Torgan delegates were watching with new attention. A Silthari ambassador slithered forward, her hood flaring with curiosity. "Human Aaron, do you understand what you're claiming? If you take responsibility for a Kresh cub, you're invoking pack bond rights. In Kresh culture, that makes you Alpha, finished a gravelly voice from the crowd. A scarred Kresh warrior pushed forward, his black scales marked with silver battle honors. The human claims Alpha status over the cub. This is an unprecedented. The matriarch's rage had transformed into something closer to shock. Impossible. To be Alpha requires what? Aaron interrupted quietly. Strength? I can outlast anything in this station. Intelligence? Humans built quantum drives before we had matter shields. Will, we turned a hostile rock into a garden world through sheer determination. He paused. Or does it simply require being willing to stand between danger and those under your protection? Lys's small voice rose, trembling but clear. Can I belong to you now? Aaron looked down at the cub, at her golden eyes filled with desperate hope, and felt the weight of the moment. Yes, you belong with me now. No one will cast you aside again. The scarred warrior approached slowly, studying Aaron with new respect. Human, you invoke ancient laws. If you claim Alpha status, others may challenge you. Are you prepared? Let them come. The simplicity of Aaron's response sent a shiver through the assembled species. There was no bravado, no posturing, just flat certainty. The warrior's mandibles clicked in what might have been a smile. Then I acknowledge your claim. The cub is yours. He turned to the matriarch. And you are forbidden from interfering. So speaks the Council of Warriors. The matriarch stared at Aaron for a long moment before turning and stalking away, her scales rattling with suppressed fury. As the crowd began to disperse, murmuring in a dozen languages, Lys pressed closer to Aaron. I don't understand. Why did they accept you? Aaron smiled slightly, resting his hand on her head again. Because they finally realized something about humans. We're not strong because we have claws or armor. We're strong because we choose who we protect, and then nothing in the universe can make us abandon them. Will you really keep me safe? Always. In the following weeks, something strange happened aboard the station. Other species began watching Aaron differently, not with dismissal, but with wary respect. The human who claimed a predator's cub, the human who invoked alpha rights and made them stick, and Lys thrived, growing stronger and bolder each day, secure in the knowledge that she belonged to someone who would never cast her aside. The galaxy was learning what humans had always known. Sometimes the most dangerous predator isn't the one with the biggest claws. It's the one who refuses to let go of what they love.